Welcome back. All right, so let's consider this a warm-up for the regular season tonight, and me learning to watch how many notes I'm taking on these games and planning, because sometimes there'll be a lot of goals. I will come to that game, though. So, 4 games I reviewed what I could watch. The Carolina game wasn't on TV. The Calgary game wasn't on TV. I'm not rushing around looking for games between teams that aren't on TV. I'm sure there's other ways to watch. But these 4 games were on, and I was like, all right. I was originally just going to review these 3. This one, and that one. But when I saw the start time of Pittsburgh-Detroit, I was like, might as well. So there you go. That being said, let's go ahead and jump in with Boston in against the New Jersey Devils. I don't know that this game tells us a lot other than Keith Kinkaid can still play in the league. I believe that. That being said, we'll see if he gets waived. I would think yes. It was Kinkaid versus VAN-EDM in this. There was a long stretch to start the game without a whistle or a shot. VAN-EDM then denied Lauko, who had a good game. Devils get a power play. Howle's denied. The Bruins clear it out. It's killed off, just the one shot, and then the Devils get another power play. It's another kill for Boston. This time they don't allow a shot to the New Jersey Devils. And then Tatar, on a fast break, he scores. The Bruins were making a line change. He scores at 10:55 from Vukojevic and Russo. So nice goal there by Thomas Tatar, who's looking to have a bounce back after a down year last year. The Devils then press for another. Things get pushy after a Kinkaid hold. The Devils were really sharp. Smith's then denied on a break by VAN-EDM. It's Craig Smith there. Hitting ramps up. Wolf is the one that got that started, which I thought kind of favored the Devils, to be honest. Late power play for the Bruins. That rolls over into the second period. It's killed off, and then Tatar's denied and close. The Devils were a post away from 2-0. As the score, Wood then fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 3-2 for the Devils, 5 minutes into the period. Carrick blasts one wide for the Bruins. The Devils press at 7.5 minutes, but the Bruins come out of that with the power play. Then there's a short-handed Sharon Govich rush. Really strong penalty kill for New Jersey. Riley has a shot that's saved as the penalty comes to an end. Holtz couldn't bury one in close. The Devils press. Janssen then had a rush chance. Kinkaid holds on that. The Devils had a 3-on-2. The Bruins defended that outside. The momentum's all Devils, but the score was still only 1-0. Hughes is then robbed on a fast break with 2:28 left. The Bruins, they get themselves a power play. And more strong shorthanded play by Sharon Govich, who remains one of my favorite Devils, and that's killed off, if not my favorite Devil, right? So we go to the third period, still 1-0. The Bruins press, they're kept to the outside. The shots are 3-1 in their favor, 3.5 minutes in. No goal, though. There's a near miss by Howle as the Devils press. Ashawn had a chance that tips wide. Kaiser pretty solid in relief, but not overly busy to that point in the game. Hughes fires one wide. Lauka had a rush chance. He fires that one wide as well. The next chance, Lauka couldn't bury in close. Marino has a shot that's held. There's some pushing after that. The Devils press with 5.5 minutes left. The Bruins have pulled the goalie, and with 22.4 seconds left, it becomes a 6-on-4. They are unable to generate a goal to tie it. So New Jersey wins this one 1-0. Your 3 stars are VAN-EDM, Tatar, and Vukojevic. The shots are 8-6 New Jersey in the first, 10 apiece in the second, and 8-6 Boston in the third. Final shots are 24-24. Power plays, Boston 0 for 4, New Jersey 0 for 2. The hits 23-18 for Boston. Kinkaid 19 saves on 20 shots. Kaiser, it shows 4 saves, but it would have been, well, no, it was 4 saves. He came in during the third. VAN-EDM 24 saves on 24 shots for the preseason shutout, which doesn't count as a shutout come regular season time. So, New Jersey keeps a strong record for Boston. Some work to be done, but Boston rested a lot of their regulars. So, and considering the Hall injury, don't blame them. Don't play them. Just leave them out for the rest of the preseason as far as I'm concerned. All right, next up, Toronto and against the Montreal Canadiens. It is going to be a trying season for the Montreal Canadiens. Does Slafkovsky stick with the team? This was the conversation throughout the game. And honestly, tonight was his best night as a Montreal Canadian. He might have made the argument to at least get one more game and a look. So, it was Murray versus Allen in this one. The Leafs get a power play and they score on it relatively early at 2:17. It's Nylander from Marner and Bunting. So, power play clicks there. And it stays 1-0 until 8 minutes and 40 seconds when Aston Reese would score from Hall. So, Aston Reese looks like he wants to stick around. Then there's a too many men on the ice call against the Leafs, but that's killed off against Montreal. As Montreal's power play struggles a bit early there. There's a near miss for Gallagher and close. The Leafs then get a power play with 3:05 left. There was a shorthanded pass to Dvorak that just missed, and Dvorak was all by himself behind the Toronto blue line. So if, and by which I mean their defense, not their actual blue line, but if that pass connects, he's in by himself, but it doesn't. So that power play's killed off 2 shots. Hoffman tries for the buzzer beater. That was blocked. So Toronto's up 2-0 after the first period. Second period, early press by the Habs. Brody has a shot that's tipped and held, and then Nylander on a turnover scores from Robertson and Kerfoot at 5:52. That was the 12th shot of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs and their 3rd goal. So this is where Allen's got to turn it up. His mask's fantastic, and he does play pretty well throughout this game. His stats not great, but I thought he played all right. Slavkovsky's then robbed on a rush chances. We started to see why Montreal drafts him first overall, at least in this game, right? I've seen a lot of complaints about Slavkovsky's play. I thought he played well here. Habs press at 6.5 minutes, needing shots. They didn't get them until Matheson has a blast that's held. And then there's another good shift for Slavkovsky that followed that up. Allen then held on when the Leafs were pressing. There's a near miss for Josh Anderson on a rush for Montreal. Jack-Eye then had a shot that was tipped. Murray holds on to that. Monahan couldn't bury one. Good rush, though, and Monahan didn't look out of place out there, so that's good news. Riley has a net feed that was defended, and the Habs are the better team in the second period, as the shots told you, and the shots don't lie in this case. The Leafs press in the final minute. Allen makes saves. The fans call a penalty. The ref doesn't, so he must suck. I didn't hear ref, you suck chance, but I'm sure fans were thinking it. Dodonov then with a buzzer beater, that wouldn't go. Dodonov had opportunities tonight, just would not go, so early in the regular season, I think Dodonov's due for some goals here. So third period, and I understand these are preseason games, of course. What I mean is that he'd start scoring a couple weeks from now. Third period, early press by the Habs. The shots, though, are 4-1 for the Leafs at 4 minutes. Then there's a near miss for Dodonov. So again, just a little bit off there. Habs get a power play. It then becomes a 5-on-3. There's a near miss for Gallagher. There was a shorthanded rush for Kerfoot that was saved, and they end up killing off that 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4 as well. Marner to Matthews, then there's a near miss there. Marner trying to get to Matthews at the net. With 6:24 left, the Habs get a power play, and they score on it at 14:15. It's Drouin from Slavkovsky and Anderson. So Slavkovsky with a point in this one on what would be Montreal's only goal. Toronto answers pretty quickly after at 15:42. Kerfoot scores from Nylander and Robertson. The Leafs then get a power play. Kerfoot nearly gets a second. Allen holds, but then Kerfoot roofed the next opportunity. He scores from Robertson and Malgin at 18:42. So Malgin continues to make a push for a job on the roster as well. Toronto wins this one 5-1. Your 3 stars are Nylander, Murray, and Slavkovsky. So Slavkovsky in the 3 stars. The shots 10-5 Toronto in the first, 14-7 Montreal in the second, 14-11 Toronto in the third. Final shots 31-30 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Power plays 2 for 3 for Toronto, 1 for 4 for Montreal. Hits 24-13 for Toronto. Murray saves 29 out of 30. Allen saves 26 out of 31. It's an ugly stat line for Allen. I don't think he played badly, but there's probably going to be some ugly stat lines for their goaltenders this year. Next up is Pittsburgh in against Detroit. So Detroit, of course, beat Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh had a pretty full roster a few games back. Pittsburgh played like they remembered until the third. So it's DeSmith versus Husso. The early jump was for the Red Wings. Sherratt has a rush chance that's kicked aside. The Wings hit a post as they press, and they were up 3-0 in shots 4 minutes in. They wanted this game. The Wings then press again at 7 minutes. Raymond's denied on a fast break. And then Archibald is robbed on what was Pittsburgh's first shot, which was almost 9 minutes into the game. Raymond then had a chance on a turnover. That was kicked aside. And then the Penguins come out with a power play, and they score on it. It's Rust on the power play from Crosby and Letang at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Great shot. It was a rush goal. Really, really nice play. Nice pass by Crosby. It's not the first time I've said that, or the 100th. Wings try to answer. DeSmith holds. The Penguins press with 3 minutes left. With 1:20 left, though, the Wings get a power play. Sider has a blast. That's held. And so the rest of the power play rolls over to the second period, where the Penguins finish the kill the best way you can at the other end of the ice. So they finish it in the Wings' end. The shots are 3-0 for the Penguins at 2.5 minutes, so they take some momentum out of that. Vrana has a shot saved in close, paling that at a rush chance that was held. Archibald's was not held. He scores to make it 2-0 from McGinn and Poulin at 4:52, and that was on a turnover. And then the Penguins try for more. That being said, Ernie then had an opportunity. He's denied in close. Zadina has a shot that's blocked. The Penguins clear it out. Vrana's denied on a fast break. The Wings press, forced the Penguins to ice it. They had some good opportunities. Heinen then had a tip opportunity that was snagged and held. 3:05 left. The Penguins get a power play, which leads to a lot of booing from the fans, and I get it. Zucker would score on that power play from Heinen and Petrie at 18:01. It was the perfect tip by Zucker. No chance for Husso on that one. It's 3-0 in favor of Pittsburgh after 2 periods. Third period, early jump for the Red Wings. Wings get a post but not a goal until Kubalik scores at 2:59 from Bergeron and Seider. So Bergeron, I thought, played a decent game. And there's some debate about whether they're going to keep him or they're going to send him down. I think Bergeron plays for them, but we'll see. The Penguins then got away with too many men on the ice. The Wings saw it. Announcers saw it. Camera saw it. Referee did not. That's okay. Wings, it's preseason. Refs are getting into the swing of things too. Wings press at 5.5 minutes. They had some momentum. In fact, 7.5 minutes into the third period, the shots are 8-1 in favor of Detroit. Bertuzzi then had a rush chance that's saved. The Wings go to the power play. There was a close call for Bertuzzi on a tip opportunity during that. It's killed off. Bertuzzi's was the best opportunity. Then there's a near miss and close for Suter. Okanura was solid in relief. Absolutely very solid in relief. Then the goalie gets pulled with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left, and Detroit scores to make it a 1-goal game. It's Larkin from Bertuzzi and Zadina at 17:20, and a win off Kapanen's stick and in. Then they pull the goalie again with 2:05 left. DeSmith Snow Angels to keep it out. I have no idea how the puck stayed out on that bit. The Wings would then press in the final minute, but they're unable to get that tying goal. Your final score is 3-2 for Pittsburgh. Your 3 stars are Zucker, DeSmith, and Kubalik. Shots 12-7 Detroit in the first, 11-9 Pittsburgh in the second, 18-6 Detroit in the third. Final shots 39-24 for Detroit. Power plays, Pittsburgh 2 for 2, Detroit 0 for 2. So you want to see the difference. Special teams are the difference. The hits were 30-22 for Detroit, so they outshot them badly and outhit them. DeSmith saves 37 out of 39. Husso saved 15 out of 18, and then Okanura went in, and Okanura with 6 saves on 6 shots in relief. So there you go. Pittsburgh gets the win. They get the win back. And for Detroit, the one thing I noticed with Detroit, there's a lot of time between their last preseason game and then their first regular season game. It's almost a full week. I know they're not the only team, but Detroit has some stuff to work on coming out of this one. But it was a decent game. They showed some fight late. That's what you want to see in your team, right? All right, last game of the night. So I knew Canucks weren't winning this. As soon as I saw the opening, like the rosters, I was like, okay, so the Oilers have their A team and Vancouver has not much. So I knew what was going to happen. But still, the score ends up being more lopsided than I think the play was through most of it. So it was Delia versus Campbell. I don't know if Colin Delia did enough in this game to necessarily get... And again, I know there's 7 goals on the board. I don't know that Delia did enough to push his way into the conversation for the backup job more than he already was. I think he probably ends up on waivers. I think Martin gets the backup job. I was surprised they didn't have Delia play the first half of the game and Martin play the second half just to get a better feel for it. But anyways, Lazar has a rush chance that's held. The Oilers get a power play at 136, and all I could think was, this is going to be ugly. And then it kind of wasn't. Cycle's broken up. Wolanin clears it out. Wolanin had a fantastic game tonight. Really, really good game. Power plays killed off 2 shots. The Canucks then get a power play. There was a shorthanded rush by Draisaitl that helped finish that kill. 2 shots for the Canucks on their power play. Canucks go right back to the power play. We get a crossbar for Wolanin. The power play's killed off. The shots are 6-2 in favor of Vancouver at the half. But then Holloway at 10:39 scores from Nurse and Hyman and gets Holloway off to the start. Now, the debate between the second and third period was, is Holloway going to make the team? Yes. Yes, Holloway needs to make the team. I'm going to question the sanity of the Oilers if they don't keep Holloway, because he looked really good. Not just the goals, but just in general, he played really well. Dries nearly answers for Vancouver. Delia then poke-checked McDavid on a rush opportunity. Podkolzin was then denied from the slot when Vancouver got the puck at the other end. The Oilers press with 6:30 left, and Delia saves there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has a blast that's tipped wide. With 1:49 left, the Canucks get a power play. There's a shorthanded rush chance for Draisaitl. That's saved. After the first period, it's 1-0 Edmonton. But it could have been a lot worse. Honestly, again, the Canucks with a lineup that, just if you go look at the lineups on the NHL app or Sportsnet, wherever you want. You'll see. There wasn't a lot of star power for Vancouver tonight. There were a few. You have to have your veteran requirement met. There were a few, not very many. Second period, the Oilers finished the kill. The Canucks were 0 for 3 to this point. Lazar has a rush chance that's held. The Canucks get their 4th straight power play, and you know what happens when that's going on. Eventually, those power plays are going to go the other way. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Wolanin breaks it up. Absolutely fantastic play. That power play's killed off, but then the Canucks get another power play. There's a shorthanded fast break for Hyman. Delia saves there, and then the Canucks get the power play goal. It's Höglander from Wolanin and Garland at 4:24. Great pass by Wolanin. Nice goal by Höglander, and there you go. That makes it a 1-1 tie. The Canucks then go for the lead on the next shift. The Oilers had a 3-on-1 that misfired, but the Oilers press coming out of that. McLeod can't bury from the side of the net. The Oilers get a power play at the half, and eventually this power play is just going to get lethal. Hyman would score on that power play from McDavid and Bouchard at 11:50. No chance for Delia on that one. And then Holloway adds one 26 seconds later on a rush, and it's a beautiful goal. Go look at it. It's fantastic. And so, yeah, Barry and Shore with the assist there. And then it was nearly 4-1 right after that. So this is where it's kind of a shooting gallery. But at 13:08, Garland would score from Wolanin. It went in off Cody Ceci, but it's Garland's goal. And then Holloway's denied on a rush shortly after that. So this is where I realized I don't have a lot of room. This is the preseason. I absolutely refuse, put my foot down, to have 2 columns taken up by a preseason game and to force myself into another board for a preseason game. So I was like, no. So I didn't do it. Because I knew we're going to get a lot of goals. We did. Barry would score from Hyman at 18:48. That's another rush goal. The Vancouver defense was being exposed at this point. This is not their defense crew they're going to have. While Wolanin played well, there was some sketchy play elsewhere, and I don't know that DeKeyser played well enough tonight for his PTO to turn into a contract. Put it that way. Third period, I had to put on the board that they played Deutschland. Anytime that the Rammstein song Deutschland gets played in an arena, I'm excited because it's always Du Hast. They're considered kind of a one-hit wonder, and they're not, so I like hearing that in the arena. Quiet start to the third. Oddly enough, I've never heard it when I've been in Vancouver's arena. I just assume they hate me. So Benson was out, so you're down to 11 forwards for the Oilers. Spoiler alert, it doesn't matter. DeKeyser takes an elbow, no call on that, but he would then get a call later on in the period. The shots are 3-0 Canucks at 5.5 minutes, so they came out playing relatively well. The Oilers, though, get the next 5 shots, and then Campbell absolutely robs Garland. Jack Campbell played really well tonight, had some highlight reel saves there, or else this score would have been a lot closer. And Podkolzin, great setup on that Garland play as well. 8:16 left, the Oilers get a power play. Yamamoto ends up crashing into the boards, which leads to a 5-on-3 for 27 seconds. The Canucks did kill that off. However, Holloway, one-man show for the goal at 17:19. And this is where it's a complete meltdown for the Canucks and domination by the Oilers. Foegele would score from Virtanen and Shore at 18:05. Another rush goal, which to me shows that the defense was just too slow to keep up with the Oilers tonight. And then Foegele scores from the side of the net, Shore with the assist at 18:56. So with 3 goals over a short period late, it makes this one an ugly 7-2 score. Your 3 stars, I picked the 3 stars since the app didn't have them at the time, and I thought, whatever, it's preseason, it's fine. I'm giving Holloway the first star with the hat trick, Campbell the second star with the great saves, and Foegele had the 2 goals late, and he played really well in this game. He's had a decent preseason after a slow start. So yeah, I gave Foegele the 3rd star. The shots, I've got the teams backwards here, but I don't have the shots backwards. Vancouver outshoots them 12-10 in the first. Edmonton outshot them 17-12 in the second, and then 9-6 in the third as they took over. Final shots are 36-30 for Edmonton. Power plays, Vancouver 1 for 5. They had those 5 in a row. Edmonton's 1 for 4 bookended that. The hits were 24-22 for Vancouver. Delia saves 29 out of 36. It's an ugly stat line at the end of the night, and I don't know that we got any clarity on the backup other than, yeah, it's probably Martin's job. Campbell saves 28 out of 30, and he looks to be in mid-season form, which is good news for the Oilers and for their fans. So there you go. 4 games in the books that I watched. The other games I didn't get to see. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.